الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال عشر وقال تعالى لن ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها ولكن يناله التقوى منكم صدق الله العظيم. Most respected ulama, elders, beloved brothers, these are the verses of Surah Al-Fajr which I have recited. In these verses of Surah Al-Fajr, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made mention of 5 qasams, 5 oaths Allah Ta'ala has taken. We will just make mention of 2 points of view which is relevant to our discussion. One is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala starts off wal Fajr, by the oath of the time of Fajr. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala does not need to have, Allah Ta'ala does not need to take any qasam. Because وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who can be more truthful than Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in speech? Normally, when does a person take a qasam? When a person wants the opposite party to understand that what I am saying is the truth. But who can be more truthful than Allah Ta'ala? So Allah Ta'ala didn't need to take a qasam. Allah Ta'ala takes a qasam in these verses so that we understand the importance of the subject matter that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala wants to discuss. So the first qasam Allah Ta'ala takes is by the time of Fajr. This time of Fajr is a very, very Mubarak time. It is a very, very blessed time. A student, a child that is doing Hifz class, normally the child, he studies at night. And he just repeats the sabak sometime. He just reads the verses again and again. And he spends 20 minutes, 25 minutes in this manner. He goes to sleep. In the morning, he wakes up at the time of Fajr. He just revises the sabak for a little while. And he knows that sabak perfectly. So much of barakah Allah Ta'ala has kept in this time. Many of our mashayikh, they say that the kitab that they couldn't understand whilst they were studying, at the time of Fajr, they will open those kitabs. And they will study at the time of Fajr. Allah Ta'ala would make it so easy that those difficult masail, they will understand at the time of Fajr. This is such a Mubarak time. Quran says, Inna Quran al-Fajri kana mashhuda. That the time when Quran Sharif is recited at Fajr, the malaika, they come down. That is why the rooster also, it crows at the time of Fajr. The hadith says, La tasubbu dik. When the rooster crows, don't swear the rooster. At that time, you should make dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Allahumma inni asaluka bin fadlik. Oh Allah, I ask for your grace. I ask for your mercy. So why? Because the rooster, they sing the malaika that are descending. And on the other side, when the donkey brays, then the donkey sees shaitan. That is why the donkey is braying. So this time of Fajr is the Fajr Salah. This is when the malaika are here. But unfortunately, our masajid are empty. So this time of Fajr is a very, very Mubarak time. So which Fajr is referred to in this verse of the Quran Sharif? So some commentators say that this refers to the Fajr of the 1st of Muharram, because it is the beginning of the Islamic year. So that Fajr Allah Ta'ala takes a qasam upon in this verse of the Quran. Others say no, it does not refer to the 1st of Muharram. It refers to the Fajr of every morning. Because every morning at the time of Fajr, there is inqilab, there's a total change that has come into the world. At night when a person, he goes to sleep, at that time he's like a dead person. Quran says, Allahu yatawaffal anfusa hina mawtiha. At the time of death, when a person passes away, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala holds back the soul of a person. وَالَّتِي لَمْ تَمُتْ فِي مَنَامِهَا. And that person that has not passed away in his sleep, that person, his soul is also extracted. When we are sleeping, our soul is taken away. فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَضَى عَلَيْهَا الْمَوْتِ. That person upon whom Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has decreed death, that person's soul, Allah Ta'ala doesn't send it back in the dunya. Next morning, he's a dead man. فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَضَى عَلَيْهَا الْمَوْتِ وَيُرْسِلُ الْأُخْرَى إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. And other souls, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala returned it for a stipulated period of time. Whether it is is 50 years, whether it is 60 years, Allah Ta'ala, after you go to sleep, Allah will return the soul. Until the time comes, we will all leave this dunya and we will return to Allah Ta'ala. So at night, a person, he was like dead. When he wakes up in the morning, Allah Ta'ala gave us life again. That is why a person makes dua, Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana, that all praises are due to Allah Ta'ala. Ahyana ba'da ma amatana. He gave us life after giving us death. Wa ilayhin nushur. And towards Allah Ta'ala, the time is going to come where we're going to be resurrected, where we're going to be raised tomorrow before Allah Ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah. When a person at night, Allah Ta'ala has made it so conducive that during the day the phones are ringing also. But at night there are no phones that are ringing. During the day we find there's so much of hustle and bustle, cars that are moving, people that are walking, so much of noise. But for insan, for you to rest, Allah Ta'ala has made it conducive that at night you will have a peaceful night's sleep. But in the morning, a person, he came for Fajr Salah, his lights were on, he needed lights to sleep. After Fajr Salah, you are returning home. Now it is become bright. Now a person doesn't need his light also. So a complete inqilab, a complete change takes place every morning at the time of Fajr. So Allah Ta'ala takes a qasam by the time of Fajr. That insan, just reflect a little bit, think a little bit, that what was your condition at night and what is your condition in the morning. Just like that, you're going to be living one day and the time will come when we will leave this world and you will return to Allah Ta'ala. The third, another group of commentators, they say that which Fajr is referred to over here. They say the Fajr of the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, the day of Qurbani, Yawmun Nahar, the Fajr of that morning is being referred to over here. Why particularly this Fajr of the day of Eid? Normally, we know in Islam, the night comes first. After Maghrib, it's already the next day. That is why in the masjids also, the date changes on the calendar, wherever it is, or on the computer board, the date normally changes after Maghrib Salah, because it's already the next day. But this particular day, the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, the night preceding it, that does not belong to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. It does not belong to Yawmun Nahar. The day of Arafah, which is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, the night before it also belongs to the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. And the night after this also belongs to the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Why? Because a Haji that goes to Makkah Sharif, he goes to perform Hajj. What is the most important aspect of Hajj is to be present on the plains of Arafah. Al-Hajju Arafah. That Hajj is Arafah. That is why a person that is unconscious also, they have to take him onto the plains of Arafah. Whether they drive him through Arafah in an ambulance or whether they put him in the helicopter and they bring the helicopter in, they pass the helicopter through Arafah. The moment he has passed through Arafah, the Hajj of that person is done. Al-Hajju Arafah. So it could happen that a person is delayed and he does not reach Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah by the time of Maghrib. If he doesn't reach there by the time of Maghrib and a person misses Arafah, his Hajj is incomplete. He has to perform that Hajj all over again. So Allah Ta'ala made it so easy for the Ummah that the night after the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, that also belongs to the day of Arafah. That no problem. After Maghrib also you go. Right up to the morning of the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, the day of Eid, you can go and make your wuquf Arafah. And your wuquf Arafah will be valid. So Allah Ta'ala takes a qasam of that Fajr according to certain commentators of the Quran Sharif. So wal Fajr. The second qasam that Allah Ta'ala takes in this surah of the Quran, walayalin ashr. Allah Ta'ala takes a qasam by the 10 nights. Which 10 nights are referred to over here? There's different views over here as well. But majority of the scholars, they say the 10 nights that are referred to over here are the nights of these first 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah. That these are extremely valuable nights. To such an extent, we know the value of the month of Ramadan. We know the value of the days of Ramadan, the nights of Ramadan. But there is difference of opinion among the scholars that are these 10 days more valuable or are the days of the month of Ramadan more valuable. Some have said that these days, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, they're more valuable than the days of Ramadan. And the nights of Ramadan, because it has Shab Qadr in it, that is why the nights of Ramadan, they are more valuable than the nights of these 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah. So these are extremely valuable days and valuable nights. It is mentioned in the hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيهن أحب إلى الله من هذه الأيام. There are no other days of the year wherein good actions, good deeds are more beloved to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala than these 10 days. Meaning even if a person reads nafil namaz, or a person gives charity, or a person helps somebody, or a person reads Quran Sharif, this is extremely valuable and beloved to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in these days. When Sahaba heard this, Sahaba knew the value of jihad. So they asked Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, "Walal jihadu ya Rasulullah?" Not Not even jihad in the path of Allah or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Walal jihadu fi sabilillah." Not even jihad in the path of Allah. Good deeds in these days are more valuable than jihad. Illa rajulun kharaja bi nafsihi wa mali thumma lam yarji' bi shay. Except that mujahid, that person that leaves his home. Illa rajulun kharaja bi nafsihi. Himself also he goes in the path of Allah with his wealth also, and he doesn't return with anything. Meaning he becomes shaheed. He is martyred in the path of Allah. His wealth is also completely exhausted and used up in the path of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. That mujahid, that person, he is more superior. And in another hadith it is mentioned that every fast that a person will keep in these 10 days, every fast is equivalent to fasting for 1 year. And every night a person will spend in the ibadat of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, that is equivalent to spending Laylatul Qadr. In Ramadan we have to search Laylatul Qadr. Here Laylatul Qadr is been given to us every night. Every night Allah Ta'ala is giving us the reward of Laylatul Qadr. And if a person cannot even spend the night in the ibadah of Allah, minimum we can do this. Read our Isha Salah with Jamaat. And the next morning come and read our Fajr Salah. In these 10 days, these 10 nights, don't miss our Isha Salah and Fajr Salah with Jamaat. We will get the Laylatul Qadr every night inshallah. In these 10 days, it is mentioned that there are certain amal that can be done only in these 10 days. One is, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, Man arada ay yudahhiya, fala ya'khudh fil ashr min adfarihi, min sha'rihi wa adfarihi. Aw kama qala alayhi salatu wasalam. That person that intends to make qurbani, then that person should not remove, he should not cut his hair, and he should not remove his nails in these 10 days. Meaning a person, he had the niyat that I want to make qurbani, this is a mustahab amal. It's not something that's obligatory upon us, but it is something that is preferable, that is mustahab, which we learn from the hadith of Nabi alayhi salam. That if a person wants to make qurbani, don't remove your hair and don't remove your nail. Why is this command has been given to us by Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam? At this time of the year, when Hajj is taking place, so to say, Kaaba Sharif is a magnet, attracting people from throughout the world. People are making tawaf of Baytullah, people are performing Umrah, people are performing Hajj, and they are enjoying the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala. On the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, when they will be in Arafat, the rahmat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will be showering upon those people. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala did not want us to be excluded. Allah Ta'ala wanted us to be included in that mercy of Allah, that rahmat of Allah. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, you just imitate the Hujjaj. The Hujjaj, when they put on the ihram, they cannot remove their hair. When they put on that ihram, they cannot cut their nails. When they put on that ihram, they cannot apply any itar to their body. They cannot apply any scent. They cannot, it is makruh for them even to use scented toothpaste, etc. All these restrictions are put onto the Haji. So you imitate the Haji in these two aspects, that you don't remove your hair, you don't clip your nails. And that rahmat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that descends upon the Haji, that rahmat of Allah, you will have a share in it as well. Which Dr. Abdul Haysab Arifi Rahmatullahi used to say, that the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala looks for excuses. That when can I shower my rahmat upon my banda? So here you just imitate, and the rahmat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will descend upon you. Khaja Azizul Hasan Saheb Madzoob Rahmatullahi, he was a Khalifa of Mawlana Thanwi Rahmatullahi. He said, Tere mahboob ki ya Rab shabahat leke aaya hu. That Allah, I have come to you just with the outward appearance of your beloved. I imitated Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam outwardly. I wore the sunnat libas, sunnat beard, and I have come before you. Tere mahboob ki ya Rab shabahat leke aaya hu. Haqiqat isko tu kar de, main surat leke aaya hu. Allah, you make it a reality. I don't have the reality. Where Nabi alayhi salam is, and where was the position of Nabi alayhi salam? I am very, very far from that position of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, you make it a reality. Give me that life of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Main surat leke aaya hu. I've only come with the outward form, but Allah, you give me the reality. The magicians in the time of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when they came to combat Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, then these magicians, they dressed like Musa alayhi salam. But why did they dress? They dressed like Musa alayhi salam to make a mockery of Musa alayhi salam. And when they came to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, so Musa alayhi salatu wasalam asked them, they told Musa alayhi salam, imma an tulqiya wa imma an nakuna nahnu al-mulqin. That either you throw your staff or we will throw our staff on the ground. So one is they imitated Musa alayhi salam. The second quality they had adab in them. They told Musa alayhi salam, either you throw. They gave him first choice. And if you're not prepared to throw your staff, we will throw our staff. And thereafter Musa alayhi salatu wasalam told him, you all throw. So they threw their staff. There's no time to go into that discussion. But nevertheless, when the staff of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam turned into a serpent, and it had devoured, it had eaten up all day magic, which was all false magic, which was actually mesmerism. It had eaten up all that. All these magicians immediately brought Iman. Why did they bring Iman? Some commentators of Quran say, they resemble the Nabi of Allah. Allah loved this outward resemblance of Musa alayhi salam so much that Allah Ta'ala gave them iman. And when they got iman, they became the greatest awliya and the greatest friends of Allah Ta'ala just in a moment, just because of outward resemblance. So for a Muslim, for a believer, this outward resemblance also, it holds a very, very high status. A person that is wearing a kurta and a topi, you won't find that person going into the gambling den. Why? He'll think to himself, I am wearing kurta, I'm wearing topi, how can I go there? Or how can I enter into the cinema? Now when we were in Zambia, we met one alim, he came from Canada. Maulana Zakaria, he had come from Canada, he's the son-in-law of Maulana Abdul Rahim Saheb of Chipata, who has passed away, who stayed many years in the company of the Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Saheb rahmatullahi. So he said one day my uncle was driving the car. We're going off the topic, but I'll just mention this one incident. So he said my uncle was driving the car. So he said when he was driving, somehow he had to cut through or he had to get onto another lane. But it was not correct for him. There also we should consider other drivers and do what is correct. So he said when he cut through, before he did this, he took out his topi. So he said, so he was sitting with his uncle. So he told his uncle, why you took out your topi? You had to cut, you had to get into the other lane. So you got into the other lane. But why you took your topi and put it down? He says, I'm the ummati of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. How can the ummati of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, which is sunnat libas, how can he be causing inconvenience to another person? So see the sunnat of Nabi alayhi salam, this outward appearance, it holds great value in the court of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So this is the first thing, that a person shouldn't clip his hair and shouldn't clip his nails. The second thing that is done in these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, that we will fast for every day. I said every day that a person fasts, he gets the reward of fasting for 1 year. But fasting on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, which is Yawm Arafah, which will be next Saturday inshallah, here in South Africa, that a person fasts on this day, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned that I have hope that it will be a means of forgiveness for the past year's sin and the coming year's sin. So a person, he should try and fast in these days. If we can't fast every day, fast Monday, Thursday. If we can't do that also, at least the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, which is next Saturday, don't miss that fast. That Sawmu Arafah, Kafaratu Sanatain. This is a means of forgiveness of 2 years. Sanatun Qablahu wa Sanatun Ba'da. The year that comes before this, the year that comes after this, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will forgive us for that. So this is the second thing that is done only on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. The third thing is the Takbirat al-Tashriq. Next week Saturday from Fajr, for 23 namazes, after every salah, we should read the Takbirat al-Tashriq, which is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. There are certain things in Sharia which we will do in a soft voice, and certain things we do in an audible voice. For example, what we will carry out in a soft voice, like dua. The Quran says, Ud'u Rabbakum tadarru'an wa khufya. That dua, you call unto your Rabb with humbleness, and silently a person makes dua. But when it comes to Takbirat al-Tashriq, here the command of Shariat is, you will say it loudly. In Eid al-Fitr, when you read the Takbirat al-Tashriq, it must be done softly there. And when it comes to Eid al-Adha, when you read the Takbirat al-Tashriq, then it must be done audibly. Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi used to say, he says that I understand from this that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's command is to read it loudly, so that the shawkat, the status of Islam, it echoes in the entire masjid. So we don't read it softly over here, we read it loudly. And this is wajib, that after every salah for the 23 namaz, it's obligatory that we must read the Takbirat al-Tashriq. When it comes to the women folk at home, is it obligatory on them or is it not obligatory on them? There is difference of opinion amongst the fuqaha in this particular masla. Some fuqaha say that for the woman, some jurors say that for the woman, it is not obligatory on them to read the Takbirat al-Tashriq. And others say that it is obligatory, it is wajib on them to read the Takbirat al-Tashriq as well. The method to be taken is that of caution, that the woman also, they must also read the Takbirat al-Tashriq at home. And generally we are in the masjid, so normally if we forget to recite the Takbirat al-Tashriq, somebody else is going to recite. One person remembers, the whole masjid remembers, and everybody is going to read the Takbirat al-Tashriq. But at home, the woman, there's nobody to remind her. So many a times they forget they have to read the Takbirat al-Tashriq. So what they should do, where they perform their salah, in that particular area, they should leave a little note over there, that after every namaz, I have to read the Takbirat al-Tashriq. And after the 23 namazes are over, just remove that note, and then they will be fine. They can carry on as normal. So that will remind them to recite the Takbirat al-Tashriq. So this is also recited in these days. So this is the third action. And the fourth action, that is only confined to the days of Dhul Hijjah, from the 10th of Dhul Hijjah till the 12th of Dhul Hijjah, till the Asr, till just Maghrib of the 12th of Dhul Hijjah, is the act of Qurbani. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, time's already running out. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tested him in various ways. It is mentioned that the test of Ibrahim alayhi salam, some commentators of Quran have mentioned 30 tests Allah Ta'ala put Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam through. And all these tests that Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was put through, فَأَتَمَّهُنْ, he passed these tests with flying colors, Ibrahim alayhi salam. And when he passed these tests with flying colors, Allah Ta'ala says, إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ imama. I will make you the imam of mankind. Today the Jews, they say we are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. The Christians, they say we are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. The Mushrikeen, the polytheists, they say we are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. The Muslims say we are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Everyone claims to be the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So beloved, Allah made him in the world. But Allah cleared the matter. Allah Ta'ala mentioned, مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا. Ibrahim alayhi salam was not a Jew. وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا. Ibrahim alayhi salam was not a Christian. وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. But he was one that submitted to the will of Allah. He was a Muslim. He turned away from all deens of falsehood, all religions of falsehood, to the one deen of Islam. وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Ibrahim alayhi salam was not from amongst those people that ascribe partners unto Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In regards to this qurbani, in one hadith, the Sahaba asked Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, ma hadhi al-adahi? What is this qurbani, O Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Sunnatu abikum Ibrahim alayhi salam. This is the sunnah, this is the way of your father Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. So they asked, فَمَانَنَا فِيهَا Ya Rasulullah? What we going to get? If it's the sunnah of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, what we going to get from the qurbani? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, بِكُلِّ شَعْرَةٍ حَسَنَةٍ, that for every strand of hair, you will be rewarded in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So they said, فَالسُّوفُ Ya Rasulullah. Certain animals don't have hair, they have wool, like the sheep, it has wool. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, بِكُلِّ شَعْرَةٍ مِنَ السُّوفِ حَسَنَةٍ. For every fiber of wool of that animal, you will get reward in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In another hadith, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, مَا عَمِلَ ابْنُ آدَمَ مِنْ عَمَلٍ يَوْمَ النَّحْرِ أَحَبَّ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ إِحْرَاقِ الدَّمِ. There is no amal of the son of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. There is no amal of the son of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam on the day of Nahr, on the day of Qurbani, that is more beloved to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala than the flowing of the blood. Many people ask today, Qurbani is so expensive, so what should we do? No, on the poor person, you don't have nisab. Allah Ta'ala hasn't made it obligatory on you. A man that got the nisab, which is approximately 7,500 rand, any person that got that amount, then Qurbani becomes wajib upon that person. What is the value of the Qurbani? 3,000, 3,500. So only half of the nisab Allah Ta'ala is asking for. So here Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, this is such a great ibadat. وَإِنَّهُ لَيَأْتِي يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِقُرُونِهَا. This animal will come on the day of Qiyamah with its horns. What do we do with the horns? We got no value for the horns. We have no need for the horns. But this animal will come on the day of Qiyamah بِقُرُونِهَا وَأَشْعَارِهَا. The hair of the animals, we don't utilize the hair, but the hair will be brought on the day of Qiyamah. وَأَضْلَافِهَا. The feet of the animal, the trotters, what we call the trotters, this will be brought on the day of Qiyamah. And this will be weighed in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and a person will be rewarded. And then Nabi alayhi salam mentioned, وَإِنَّ الدَّمَ لَيَقَعُ مِنَ اللَّهِ بِمَكَانٍ قَبْلَ أَن يَقَعَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ. That when you slaughter, before that blood even reaches the ground, then it already has a position by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Meaning it is accepted by Allah. You have reward by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So for every sin that you are spending here, by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, there is great reward for that Qurbani of yours. فَطِيبُوا بِهَا نَفْسًا. Therefore Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, with a happy heart, open your heart and make your Qurbani. Not that you're looking for a cheap animal, that I need to do this Qurbani is a burden. No, happily do it. Reward in the Akhirat also. And in dunya also, we got the meat to eat. In the previous time, when they used to make Qurbani, then what the animal that used to be slaughtered, it used to be taken to the mountain, and a fire would come from the heavens, and it would devour that animal. That this animal has been accepted in the court of Allah. But for us, this animal, it is permissible for us to eat. And it is so to say, Allah Ta'ala has accepted it. And Allah Ta'ala is now giving it to us. So Allah Ta'ala is the host. We are the guests. We are eating the food of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That is why there were certain Buzrug, Maulana As'adullah Saheb Madni Rahmatullah alayh. His name, normally they don't say As'ad, they don't say the ayn properly. So they say Asad. Asad actually means a lion in Arabic. Maulana As'adullah Saheb Rahmatullah alayh, he was said that on the days of Qurbani, he used to take a little bit of the Qurbani meat, the raw meat, and he used to eat the meat. And actually the day of Eid, we should slaughter the animal and we should start with the Qurbani meat. This is what we should eat. We are making Qurbani of the best, which is from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And we're eating chicken. And leave chicken, baby chicken we're eating on top of that. So we're supposed to be eating the meat of Qurbani on the day of Eid. This is the Mehman Nawazi from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq inshallah.